It's been a while since my last video. I've got coffee, I've got water, I have snacks, and we're really just gonna sit down and have a heart to heart, my unfiltered thoughts and experiences of the past month, my views on just the industry and software engineering in general, and also what has been helpful for me personally in dealing with extreme burnout and anxiety and stress. So if any of that sounds like it'll be useful or interesting to you, please stay tuned to the end. And yeah, let's just get into it. There are lots of videos out there talking about burnouts, especially for people who are in the same industry that I'm in, which is software engineering, or honestly, just people in corporate America in general are getting really exhausted and feeling really demoralized and demotivated by like their working conditions, which is, I'm not going to get into like the privilege of having, white collar jobs or anything like that. I'm just going to talk about my personal experience. I think I have always kind of struggled with anxiety and just like the pressure to be a high achieving person because of my background. But in the past couple months, it has escalated in ways that were really unhealthy for me. So I will give specifics. This was probably 3 weeks ago at this point. My team as a whole was gearing up for this like huge expanded beta launch, and I was in charge of building the interface for an internal tool that my team would be using in order to make that launch happen. I didn't have really many guidelines on how to go about it. It was just like, hey, this is the vision we have. Can you execute it? And so I stressed myself out for like a week and a half, staying up till 2, 3. I think one night I stayed up till 4 or 5 a.m. just trying to get something working. And I also wanted to not just get it working, but go like above and beyond because I've always had that desire in me and like just that feeling that I need to constantly prove myself. And it got to a point where the week of the launch, I ended up needing to go to urgent care because my anxiety had gotten so bad. I wasn't sleeping. I was ordering trash food, like takeout for pretty much every meal and eating really late nights. And I felt like my heart was like gonna explode. I have like an Apple Watch and I also have an Aura ring so I can see my beats per minute and like my resting heart rate. So I was seeing that the numbers were just like astronomically high. Like I'm sitting at my desk working and I just feel so much stress in my body that it's like I'm doing a light jog or like I'm running. Like it's just completely not sustainable or healthy. So I ended up going to the emergency room. I was supposed to get an EKG done, but they actually, long story short, they didn't have the equipment there, and I just had a physician listen to my heartbeat and she said everything sounded fine. She prescribed me some anxiety medication and and she told me I should probably get some blood work done, and then she just hit me on my way. But I think just having to do that was really, really scary for me. And it was definitely eye-opening in realizing that the way I was living and like my obsession with work and the adrenaline that I thought was a superpower that let me work like 18-hour days was actually like probably gonna send me to an early grave. It wasn't just me. I actually had 3 coworkers go to the emergency room that week. One of whom I know for a fact was related to work stress. The other had some personal conditions going on, and I think maybe it could have been related to that, but needless to say, like, that's super terrifying. I pretty much spent all of like the holiday break, which we're currently in. It's January 1st when I'm filming this. And as of today, I've been off for, I think, 2.5 weeks. And I have another week off. So I've been trying to fill this space with just like activities and things that re-energize me and bring me back to myself and calm my spirit and calm my nerves and also just make me feel a little bit more like a human being. So I want to share what some of those like activities have been and why I found them really helpful. I know I'm probably not alone. I think this industry is in a really scary time right now. And it has been, I mean, it's kind of been like this for at least 2 years, I think, like the whole job market downturn for software engineering. But it just feels so bleak. And that can be really heavy to have to navigate every single day. And it impacts the way you work. Like, employers are definitely benefiting from this really scary environment where like engineers want to compete against one another, engineers want to stay up super late and go above and beyond to get their projects delivered, and they're fighting for scope. Like, it's all very toxic, but it is to the benefit of a lot of these companies' bottom lines, and that's why they aren't really proactively doing anything about it. If anything, they're kind of encouraging it and facilitating it because they're hoping, you know, they can milk us out of every single drop of our energy and of our capacity to produce, you know, if we feel this pressure. And like, I get it. Like, obviously we operate in this capitalistic system and that's how it's designed. Like, whether we want to think that way or not, a lot of us kind of are seen as just like code monkeys and, hey, build this as quickly as possible, make sure it works. And people really don't care that much about, you know, the tech hygiene stuff, like modernization stuff. It's kind of secondary to things that can generate coin. And I think when I took a step back and just realized how all of this was like related, it helped me realize that not only should I find ways to take time back for myself and do things that re-energize myself, I absolutely have to, or else, you know, I'm gonna be harmed by this system or completely discarded because I can't keep up. Like, physically, I cannot keep up with the demands of it. And so that gave me just like the driving motivation. Like, I'm going to use my time off to do things that really nurture me. And so I want to share those things with you all. First, I am just over the moon happy about this. I have rediscovered a lot of creative hobbies and just kind of nurtured those. And those have been dormant in me for so long. And those hobbies are reading and writing. So yes, not just writing code, but actually writing stories. And I've had a story idea in my mind for, like, not even exaggerating, decades. The idea has taken on different shapes and like the characters have kind of evolved as I've evolved as a person, but the core concept has been the same for more than 10 years. And I actually did the work of like world building for this story. I just got completely sucked in and immersed into developing the characters and like cleaning up the plot and figuring out where the story goes and just writing little excerpts. And I'm realizing I really love strengthening my storytelling muscle and how that's shown up for me in so many different ways in my life, even in my desire to do YouTube. But that has been so amazing, and just like, it's made me really happy. I've kind of gone a little insane with it. Like, I'll see if I can show you guys just kind of my own little mood boards and inspo boards of like little scenes in the story with pictures and like descriptors, and it's been really fun. I don't ever really intend to monetize my writing hobby. I feel like it's a skill I need to strengthen a little bit more, but it's just brought me joy. And yeah, it's important to have things that you do just because it just makes you happy. So that has been the first creative hobby that I've rediscovered and poured a lot of my attention back into. And like, when I think about hobbies, I think about them as like little plants, of like parts of our lives as little plants. And I have been overwatering my work plant and neglecting my relationships and my hobbies and my fitness and health plants. And so basically the whole theme of this break was trying to, you know, spread the love and making sure I try to water some of these neglected plants in my life. The creative hobby that I kind of have been pouring more of my time into has been reading. And reading and writing go hand in hand, obviously, but I was a really big bookworm growing up. And honestly, like, I think after high school, I didn't read as much just for leisure. I was mainly reading for just like work or for school. But finally I've gotten back into just picking up books. A couple of my colleagues at work, we started a little book club, and I finished this book called A God of the Woods, and it was really solid. It had really nice character depth, and I feel like I wasn't particularly rooting for anyone in the story, and I didn't really like anyone in the story, but they all felt real. They all felt deeply flawed, but flawed in ways that made sense based on their backgrounds. And I don't know, they just felt like real people, and I really like that. So that's the book that I finished a couple of days ago, and then I just started reading this book called Clean, which was recently translated, but it's been out for a while, and it's about a maid who worked for this family, and basically the plot is that the daughter of the family ends up dead, and you're kind of unraveling the mystery through the lens of this maid who's telling her experiences. It is a shorter story, and I'll probably finish it soon, and then I don't know what I'll read next, but reading has brought me a lot of joy, and if anyone has any book recommendations for me, please drop them in the comments because I would love to check them out. Another one of the things that I've recently started doing that has brought me a lot of joy is coding, but for fun. So I started working on a very, very simple web app where you can generate basically writing prompts, like story exercises for people who want to work on their writing skills like me. Hello. And that's been really fun, and I'm actually going to try to build my very first mobile app in React Native today. I'm definitely going to film that process too and post a video on it, so if you're interested, stay tuned. But yeah, I've been trying to build more for fun. The story prompt generator app that I had built, I used Next.js and Tailwind for the first time, which was nice. Wow, Next.js is, I'm so impressed with it. I'm gonna try to use their like app routers to set up an API as well, and I think that'll be so fun. So yeah, I think trying to build projects that have some relevance to me or that meet some need of my own, it just, yeah, it feels like no time passes, and I feel that sense of like, wow, like programming is so magic. And sometimes when you're just constantly trying to quickly produce at work, you can lose sight of that. So if you are an engineer dealing with burnout, this may feel counterintuitive, but I do encourage you to program, but build things that you want and try out tech stacks that you've always been curious about. And yeah, follow your curiosity, because I find that it's just really, really rewarding. Speaking of following your curiosity, one of the things that I wanted to announce is that I am going back to school part-time. I'm so proud of myself, and I'm so stoked for this next chapter of my career. So as many of you know, I'm a bootcamp taught engineer, and I went to a front-end specific boot camp. I've been working in the industry for almost 4 years now though, and while I've learned a lot on the job, I still wish that I had time to explore some of the more fundamental computer science concepts. And I also want to get my master's in CS. So I'm doing a bridge program through NYU's Tandon School of Engineering. My program actually starts tomorrow, and I'm doing the 28-week program, so it runs through end of July-ish. And I'm so freaking excited, but I'm also really freaking nervous. We're going to be learning like discrete mathematics, C++, data structures and algorithms. It's a very fast-paced course, and it will consume a lot of my time. But honestly, I got accepted to this program probably more than a year ago, and I've just been like deferring, and I finally feel like I just want to see what it's like and give it my best effort. And worst case scenario, like nothing comes of it, but best case scenario, I learned some amazing fundamentals that can help me with my job and help me with my career, but also maybe I can make a couple friends. Like, I don't know, I just feel like it'll be a really good next step. I do miss the structured environment of being in school. Balancing it with a demanding day job will be challenging, but I'm capable of doing challenging things. things, and so are you, and never forget that. I want to take you guys along with me every step of the way and just share what I'm learning, what time management strategies I'm using, what study strategies I'm using, and if I would recommend the program. So yes, on the subject of chasing your curiosity, I decided to take the plunge and go back to school part-time to chase my curiosities about computer science. And I was able to find a virtual part-time and relatively affordable program that can help me learn what I would like to learn, but you know, in a way that fits overall with my life. Also, if you happen to be watching this and you're in the program yourself, please reach out to me. I would love a study buddy and just like a accountability partner as we go through this. It will be intense and hard, so the more the merrier. And yes, that's one of the really cool updates I wanted to give. The last two things that I want to share are probably things you would expect, but still worth mentioning. First is quality time with loved ones. My dad actually came to visit over Christmas week, and it was just like, I have no words to describe how healing and restorative it was for me, and I'm so happy. So if you haven't called or spoken to your loved ones or spent time with your loved ones in a while, I highly recommend picking up that phone or planning a trip and just reconnecting, because it's a nice reminder in this world that tells us, oh, okay, our value is in our ability to produce. It's a nice reminder that we're just valuable because of who we are. We don't really need to do anything or be anything in particular to prove ourselves, and we have people who love us just because we exist. So I highly encourage spending time with loved ones. If you're feeling overwhelmed or burnt out about work, it definitely helped me feel kind of like I was connecting with myself again through my dad. And then the last thing, oh my gosh, I've been getting so much sleep. It's been amazing. I've been getting so much sleep, I think. So yeah, like I mentioned, I have the Aura ring, and it gives me like my sleep score. I've been getting like between 8 and 10 hours of sleep every single night. I also realized when I was super stressed and anxious, I was sleeping, but I wasn't in like deep sleep for very long. I was like waking up in the middle of the night. And even if I was getting 6 hours on a good night, that 6 hours didn't really feel very restorative. Whereas like I've been getting a lot more in quantity of sleep and also just better quality sleep. So please, even if you need to take a day or two off, if you can afford it, to just like sleep in, relax, be at ease, don't have any set agenda for the day, try that. I think ultimately, I feel like the only real cure for burnout is just like changing your lifestyle or leaving your job, but not all of us can afford to do that. So if you can find ways to like inject these restorative practices into your weekends, it might help keep things at bay and keep you from ending up in urgent care. I don't know, we'll see. Like I said, I go back to work in a week, so, and I'm also going to be juggling work and school. So I'm really going to be leaning on these pillars: nurturing my creative hobbies, connecting with my loved ones, chasing my curiosities, and getting rest wherever possible. I'm going to be clinging to those things to just keep my sanity. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for listening if you stuck all the way through to the end of the video, and let me know what you would like to see, whether it's more about work projects, whether it's more about school, whether it's more about keeping myself from going crazy. Like, I'm happy to share, and I'm an open book. So thank you again so much. I will see y'all in my next video. Stay locked in with me on this channel in general, because I have some good stuff coming. Have a great rest of your day, and please take care of yourself, and remember that you are loved, you are valuable, and I'm sending you guys a huge virtual hug. Bye.